This is the Fearless Finance Podcast with Amy Ross. Amy and the team at Gold Shield Wealth are dedicated to helping adults plan for and manage the hurdles they may face on their journey to retirement. Get more, including contact information in the show notes. Now, Fearless Finance with financial advisor Amy Ross.
As we get the show rolling, as we get things started here with Fearless Finance, what would be the mission statement of Gold Shield Wealth?
I want everyone to walk in the door and feel happy, and then even feel happier as they leave.
What got you started? Let's start back at the very beginning, Amy. What got you to where you're at right now of helping adults to and through retirement?
You know, that's a loaded question. I kind of have to walk you through my life in a sense. I was born and raised in a little town in southwest Virginia, coal mining country in the Appalachian Mountains, called Richlands, Virginia. So it's tucked between like Bluefield, West Virginia, and Bristol, Tennessee, Virginia. So all of my ancestors were actual coal miners on both sides of the family, my mom's side and my dad's side. And so as a little girl, I followed my dad around. My dad wasn't able to work in the mines. He said he was claustrophobic. So he didn't end up like the rest of the family in the mines. But what he did is he opened up a business. And I watched him as a little girl, how to treat people and how to form those relationships. And but as a teenager, I realized that I didn't want to be in the mining country of Southwest Virginia forever. So I was born with a brain, and I realized I was smart. And so I made it my mission to get out of there as soon as I possibly could. And I wanted to go to Carolina. I wanted to become a Tar Heel. So I left the coal mining country of Southwest Virginia with the knowledge, God has a funny sense of humor sometimes in how he's forming you when you don't realize he is. But that phase of my life was I was learning how to treat people because my dad's business, he was able to sell it a couple of years ago, still opens. Who does that? Runs a small hardware store, opened in 1978, and it is still running to this day. That's unheard of. But it was because of his reputation and who he was as a person. So I learned that, and then I ended up at Carolina, and what I specialized in was cancer patients. And I spent almost 2 decades treating cancer patients. But you know what God was teaching me then was to help be able to inspire my retirees to go live their life, because I watched people struggle every single day for a day. So that really instilled all those things in me for where I am now. And it's to use all of that. I know that every dollar matters. Hard work. People have worked so hard for their money. And then on top of that, time is precious. So now I look at my retirees are at this time of their life where they've been waiting for, they've been looking forward to this. They've worked hard for this. So that's my whole mission, is to inspire them to live that life and to take advantage of the moments that they've really dreamed about and help them make it happen. That's the best part, is I actually get to help people spend their money. It's great.
So who do you serve? Like, if you could define and paint the picture of the perfect adult right now that either needs some help to and through retirement or is just looking for the guidance, who are we talking to this weekend?
My favorite type of person is someone who comes to me that will let me use my expertise, but also loves to be educated. I really enjoy, because I have a physics brain. That's what I use. I like putting moving parts together, and I like seeing the light bulbs go off. So my retirees are my favorite people to work with, are the ones that I get to forge an actual relationship with, and I get to educate them, and I get to be their teammate during retirement, not just spouting off numbers and rules and, you have to do it this way, this way, this way, because I say so. But I like to be a part of it, to actually feel like I'm mattering. I always say on a basketball team, you don't have 5 of the same players, right? You got different people. So I like to be a teammate and part of that retirement journey.
You said something right there. You like to help educate. Our goal here on Fearless Finance is to inform and educate adults to and through retirement. What do you think that most people, that education, not their own fault, but what do you think they're lacking when it comes to putting strategies together?
Well, most people need to be more educated on everything, but the lack of education comes from people not being able to let that guard down, to be vulnerable enough to sit down with someone to be educated. Everyone is afraid of being talked down to.
Right.
Most people that are at retirement age are senior citizens. Well, they're not used to AI and all of these other things. And then Google can take them down a weird rabbit hole to where, we always jokingly in the healthcare field said WebMD, you can have yourself dead in a minute.
I have a rash, and then all of a sudden I have to put my affairs in order.
Exactly. Next thing you know, you're dying.
Wait, how'd this happen?
So a lot of retirees, they get to where they're close to retirement, and they're fearful because they know they're in over their head, but yet they don't want to be vulnerable enough to show someone what's under the hood of the car they've built the last 30 years.
What you're saying is if we are maybe a little embarrassed about some mistakes we've made in the past.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Maybe we're just a little anxious about what you're going to tell us about the work we've done.
Yep.
How do you help us overcome that?
I think laughter is the best medicine for everything. So what I'll try my best to do is anyone that I sit down with, we look at everything and we try to have fun while we're doing it. And generally, get off WebMD. Generally, you're not dying. Your mind takes you to the worst possible place, but that's not generally where you end up.
Right.
So like I said, my goal is to have people feel comfortable enough with me to show me everything that they've got, give me all their symptoms. And then we get to work together as a team to take the clay and mold it into whatever you want it to be. But you have to tell me what you want it to be. What are we making?
Yeah. So as people, you're molding the clay. What do you find that most people... What are we looking for in retirement?
Most people are looking for peace of mind and security, but yet again, they're living in an era to where they're not comfortable with it. Everything needs to be DocuSigned. Everything is done on a computer, and they very much want that warm body and that person. So that's the disconnect entirely is the use of all the technology. They're not comfortable with the technology, so a lot of times people choose the devil they know. They just leave it be because it's scary.
It's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah. You said warm body. By the way, your husband just brought you a blanket. Don't think that went unnoticed.
He
because we're
did.
talking about it's chilly in this room right now, and
Yes.
came in immediately just laid.
He's the best.
Smart man right there.
He is.
Tell me about that. Tell me about the family.
Yeah. So Andrew, he is my person. He's not a first marriage for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you sometimes practice on the first and get it right on the second go round. At least that's what happened to me. But Andrew and I, we're a blended family. We have children ranging from 9 all the way up to 24, 3 girls and 1 boy. My son is 24, so I'm the mother of a grown man, but we do have one out of college. He is doing really well, lives out in Greer, South Carolina, works for an engineering firm. And then Lexi, my stepdaughter, Andrew's oldest, is about to graduate from High Point University, Carolina. Nice. So yeah, just family's great. We're just normal people. We hang out. We like to play board games, spend time together.
What about for you personally? What do you do? Because I know this job can be beautifully rewarding, but it can also be mentally exhausting as well. So what do you do, Amy, to kind of shut it down a little bit? Like, this is my happy place. Where do you go?
Pilates.
You were ready for that answer, weren't you?
Yes.
You knew exactly what it was.
And my girl Christina knows she is my therapy. So she keeps my body and my mind in check. That's what Pilates is for.
How often do you do Pilates?
I try to go 4 days a week, but I dedicate 3. I usually try to go Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings. So my clients know that Amy's not in the office till a little bit later those mornings because I have to go for my therapy, my Pilates therapy.
So educate me on that one. What's the difference between Pilates and yoga?
Big difference. Pilates is on that wild-looking machine with all the cables, and so it's more strength training.
Okay.
So it tightens up the tiny muscles versus yoga is more stretching, and you don't use an apparatus for that. So I do reformer Pilates with the weird. Actually, Pilates, the reformer is modeled after a hospital gurney. That's what it's designed off of. So if you ever look at one and you look at a hospital gurney, you'll kind of notice some similarities. It's wild.
See, and we tell you, you're not going to get that anywhere else, but right here on Fearless
That's
Finance with Amy Rice. Education every single weekend.
Heck yeah.
GoldShieldWealth.com to meet the entire team, see all the services they have to offer. And it's a good transition here, a full body scan of your retirement. Full body scan of your retirement. Fascinating way to describe it.
Back up. You have to understand. I did treatment planning for cancer patients for many, many years. And so in order to know where the cancer was, well, what do? You do a CT scan. And if you do a full body scan, you're going to find it. So that's what I do. I really try to, for lack of a better way to say it, I like to rip things apart, scan it, see what I'm working with, get my feet planted before I give any opinions or advice at all. So...
When you do that, when you offer that full body scan of a portfolio, what do you find? Like as you rip things apart and you find what's working and what's not working, what's common today?
Well, the one thing that really blows my mind is most people have no idea where their money is even being invested. I'll ask a lot of times, do you understand what large cap means? And, I would say 75% of the people look at me clueless and they don't even realize what that means. And that's scary because I know from working in major hospital systems, when you do your investing, you basically have target date funds, and it's based on understanding what large cap, small cap, and mid cap is. And most people don't even understand. So that's the scary part is like people don't even know how to read their own statements.
Right. Because my next question was, what does large cap mean?
Yeah, it's the size of the company.
Yeah.
Capital.
As you provide the education, as people seem to understand, do you find that people get overwhelmed with the information they don't, because you don't know what you don't know? How do people react to that? How do you help find the solutions to the issues they may have?
The way I start is very basic. I know for myself, I don't like to be talked down to.
Right.
If it's a topic that I don't understand, cars, mechanic, I don't like to be talked down to. So the way that I approach a situation is I break it down very basic for everybody. I don't care what kind of college degree you have. Mm-hmm. I try to break it down basic because you can't assume that people know things. And then we move slowly through it. It's very important to me that all of my retirees understand the concepts and the why of why things need to be used and how to use them effectively. So there are times, generally a first consult is 1 hour. And there are times that it's taken that entire hour for me to explain to that person exactly how things work. We can't even move on to know how much money goes where without even really understanding what are we trying to do.
That initial consultation, I walk in, meet you and the team. I'm a little nervous, made some mistakes in my past. Amy, what can I expect?
Well, first off, you'll be met with, would you like some coffee or would you like some tea, maybe a candy bar? But the first consult is just getting to know each other. I need to get to know you. You need to get to know me. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest things that I stand by is you need to be able to connect with the financial professional that you decide to work with.
Right.
But that goes two ways. I need to be able to connect with who I'm trying to help. So the first appointment is very much so just seeing if we align. Do our values align? Does the way that I advise align with what you want your retirement to be? Mm-hmm. So the first one is more of a, let's sit here and chat like old friends and let's get to know each other and let's see what you're needing help with, what you feel like can be better, and let's make sure I'm the right person to help you.
Right.
I like to think I generally am, but I like to spend some time just really getting to know you because that's when the magic happens, is when I'm in your head and I know what you're trying to get to. Then I can help you find the solutions to get you there.
And there's something to be said about being local as well. You live here, you work here, you play here. You understand the economy of Myrtle Beach and the surrounding areas. That means a lot to a lot of people.
Absolutely. I love Horry County. It is my home. My parents bought a house in Barefoot Landing in 2008, mm-hmm. and that's how long I have been coming here. I never dreamed I'd get to live here at such a young age. That I had always planned on landing in Myrtle Beach, but I just didn't think I would get to do it at 40, which is a blessing. But I love my community. I know how the personalities are, believe it or not, it's different from the north end of town to the south end of town and then the restaurants. And I love supporting the local businesses and getting to know them. I mean, Myrtle Beach is my home.
So as you mentioned that, you love supporting local. And to prove that this is not one of those syndicated shows that run up and down the East Coast and out west and Atlanta and Philly and Chicago, Amy, I want you to shout out some of your favorite restaurants.
Oh, boy. All right. So, been 2004, North Myrtle Beach. Okay. It's tapas. It is amazing. I've been there multiple times. It's very consistent.
How close are we to getting like a nameplate on the wall with your name on it saying, she's been here so many times?
Well,
we reserve
they
this
know
booth.
our faces. I'll just say that. They know who Andrew and I are when we come in. 21 Main, that's always very consistently good if you want a good steak, good ambiance. Ice cream is my jam. I love ice cream. If you want some really good ice cream, Kirk's.
Okay.
Kirk's ice cream is amazing.
I love that you already off the top of your head, you were like, well, here's 3 spots that I go to all the time. So I love that you love to support local as well. And do you do a lot of work with small business owners as well?
Well, basically everybody in Myrtle Beach is a small business owner.
True.
There's no other alternative, but yes, that is one area now that I have my business, very well established, that I see that there's a deficit in Myrtle Beach, that small business owners tax, they need help with their taxes as well, because you can, by the time you pay your staff and you do everything that your overhead, you need to keep all your profit that you possibly can. And so that is one thing that I feel Myrtle Beach needs a little extra help with.
Yeah, because there are specific strategies just for the small business owners.
Absolutely.
Always get more at goldshieldwealth.com. We talked a couple of minutes ago about what a lot of adults get wrong about their retirement strategies, and you said they're not educated. I wish they were more educated on the little things. But let me flip the script. What do a lot of adults get right about their retirement?
That's a tough one. Because this generation was handed a raw deal, in my opinion. This is, pensions were phased out in the 80s, and there was very little guidance. So what I see a lot of is not what's done right. It's more of just kind of investment blindly, without guidance. But, a lot of them have been very diligent savers, so I would say a lot of them have gotten that right. They realized, that they weren't going to just rely on Social Security. They were smart enough to see that the Social Security wasn't going to cut it, but they've been good savers, I would say.
So what are you most proud of when you go to work every day? Let me phrase that. After you get done with your Pilates and you go to work every day, what are you most proud of when you walk through the front doors?
The culture.
Yeah.
The culture that my office has is amazing. I had a gentleman stop in a couple weeks ago, and he didn't realize that he made my entire week, but he did, because what he said to me, he had never been to my office. He and his wife were there visiting, and it was after hours. I do see people after hours sometimes, and so obviously I lock the doors.
I get it. Yep.
And then when they get there, I'm like, text me when you're here, and I'll go let you in. But I had let them in the office, and they walked in, and he said he's walking down the hallway, and he just turns around out of the blue, and he says to me, he's like, Amy, it makes me feel happy just being in here. Oh. And that's what I'm most proud of, is that I have created a culture and an environment for my retirees to come and sit and talk to me that is relaxing and not stiff and not transactional. That's what I wanted to do all along. It's like, I can bring these fancy techniques and all of this stuff, but I don't have to be cold and impersonal. So that's what I am absolutely the most proud of.
We mentioned it earlier about how this isn't like a syndicated radio show. Gold Shield Wealth, not a big box firm with locations all over the country. They have clients throughout the country, but they don't have 15 different locations all over the place. And there's also something to be said about being part of their lives, because when we work with you, it's not just shake your hand, you're retired, we'll see you when we see you. There's got to be something neat about watching somebody walk in the front door, a little confused, a little anxious. You put a plan together and all the way to and through retirement. That's got to be a good feeling.
It is. And one of my favorite things is most of the people that end up in Myrtle Beach are from the Northeast. And it's where life has been go, 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 go. A lot of people very abrasive.
Yeah, there it is.
And it is amazing to watch, my retirees that come and then they meet up with me and they're fresh off the boat in Myrtle Beach, and to watch just their demeanors and their personalities and everything soften. And it's not only the environment, but also allowing them to breathe for the first time, because they've got me in their pocket, helping them out with their investments. We also offer your help with Medicare, all those things under one roof. So you've got somewhere safe to call. I even give out hair advice, golf cart, whatever, we're here for you. But it's very rewarding to watch that.
Do you have a golf cart?
You know what? We did have a golf cart, and then we ended up with 2 Jeeps, and we had no room to park the golf cart. So we got rid of the golf cart because of an extra Jeep, which are very popular in Myrtle Beach.
Got the ducks up on the windshield or the front console?
No, well, the one Jeep is going to be my daughter. She's 15, so she'll be driving next year. So she will be. She's collecting ducks. Yes, my husband had some ducks, but he gives them to the girls.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I will say it's funny. The golf cart, I've got one. I love it. It is so much fun.
Yeah.
One of the best investments I've ever made. My fake teeth and my golf cart. Those are 2. And I like my family and everything too.
Yeah.
But I do
no,
love
golf carts are amazing, but
are.
We had to decide. We only had so much room.
Yeah, I get it.
And the Jeep could drive us all the way down to the beach, whereas the golf cart couldn't. It was just in the neighborhood, so that's why.
Oh, my car got kicked out of the garage. The golf cart gets placement in the garage.
I'm sure.
My car,
yeah.
if it storms, well, too bad. Sorry, car. Golf cart's safe and sound.
Well, my garage is full of gym equipment. My husband has a full-on gym in there, so there's no room for anything else in that garage.
I love that. All right, so we talked about something that makes you happy and what you're really proud of. But again, what about some of the challenges? What are some of the biggest challenges? And we talked earlier about which people are more educated, but for you personally, what are some of the challenges you face at Gold Shield Wealth?
You know, the biggest challenge that I have faced at Gold Shield Wealth was creating the team to support me that I knew my clients deserved. That was my biggest challenge of the year. But I'm happy to say that has been remedied. I have a wonderful, amazing staff in my office with me. Another challenge, you know, which is not really a challenge, but it's something that I set high standards for myself, is staying educated, staying on top of things for my clients. Yeah. You know, all that matters too.
When you talk about your staff, and it's so important to surround yourself with people you trust. When people come in for that second opinion, it's all about trust. Maybe they're coming in from one of those big box firms. They're coming in from New York or up north or something. How do you really build the trust for the families you serve?
You know, it takes time and it takes consistency.
Yeah.
It just does, because, you know, people that are at that retirement age, they're trusting you with all they've got. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's not something, and I don't expect it to be a trust that is just handed over willy-nilly. It doesn't need to be. And that's why it's so important to me when that trust is handed to me. I treat it like it's precious.
Yeah.
It's precious because I know how difficult that trust was to earn.
And that's why that initial consultation, the full body scan of your retirement, it's no cost, no obligation. The opportunity to get to know Amy and the team. Speaking of team, can we give a couple of members of the team a little shout out this weekend here? Some of the people who may be working with?
Yeah, absolutely. I have Miss Juliet. I love to support local. So I actually have 2 coastal grads that I have hired straight from there. So Juliet, she's originally from Massachusetts. Such a bright young lady. She is passing exams and getting credentialed left and right. She's really growing with me. She's my right-hand person, so I always tell my clients, if you need me and you can't get me, call Juliet. And then Brody is another one. I wanted to jazz up my marketing. Admittedly, I am very anti-social media. I hate messing with it. So Brody is another coastal grad that I took on, and she's just really doing amazing things with jazzing all that stuff up. I mean, I'm not much different than my retirees. I like pen and paper and a calculator and all of this stuff too, you know, so I have to hire the younger people to help me with those things because I'm not any different. I don't like it either.
Listen, I feel like some days technology has passed me by.
Yeah.
And that's why I say it's so important for every team to have that younger, and I sound like old man Owens right here, and I don't mean to, but have that younger generation that embraces it.
They do.
They don't just know it, they love it.
But they've had it in their hands since the day they were born.
Agreed.
I mean, I still remember an IBM and a Mac computer when they were huge, you know, like
the dot matrix and you're pulling off the side of the printer paper.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like they come in very handy at times. I giggle about it, but I'm like, the things that intimidate me so much with all this stuff, they've got it done in 30 seconds. They just go on ChatGPT and have things printed out. I'm like, what?
Kids, y'all don't understand what it was like getting on dial-up back in the day and waiting for AOL to connect. And then if somebody picked up the phone, you were kicked off the internet. You'll never know what those days are like. These kids.
Yep.
Amy, anytime somebody comes down and sits down with you and begins the conversation, what's the first thing you say?
Well, let's talk money, honey.
So let's talk about it. What you got?
You know, I like to encourage my retirees to make wish lists of things that they actually want to do in retirement, no matter how crazy it may be. So let's talk money, honey. Let's talk about charitable giving. You know, I always say pick something that makes you happy. And sometimes maybe it's not going on a cruise or buying something material that's going to give you joy. Maybe it's giving money. You know, having 4 kids collaboratively between my husband and I know, you know, at a younger age, a lot of times you don't have that money to give. But, you know, we are right here in tax season too, right? So, you know, think of those different charities. Think of different things that you can actually give with your money to give you that joy in retirement, because sometimes money isn't about what it buys you. Maybe it's what it gives other people.
I love that. Helping you find the joy in retirement.
Find joy.
With the help of Amy Ross and the team at Gold Shield Wealth.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Gold Shield Wealth Financial. Gold Shield Wealth is an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Gold Shield Wealth Financial are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Gold Shield Wealth Financial and IPW are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This radio show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Gold Shield Wealth is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during the show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Gold Shield Wealth. This radio show is a paid placement. Any and all services related to Medicare are an outside business activity and are not offered through or supervised by Impact Partnership Wealth, IPW, LLC. Gold Shield Wealth has a strategic partnership with tax professionals and attorneys who can provide tax and or legal advice.